off to support our guys, they knew where they were, how come. So that was very good. But we put the Marines aboard in we picked them up. Honshu, early part of the war, we went in there very carefully and dumped a whole bunch of Marines, and they went to war.
That's right, you guys carried Marines, and you transported them?
No, we had ships to go.
Ships to do that?
For people.
Yeah.
Fighting people with. Yeah. And then 2 years later, we were all around the Hung Dam, and the Marines were getting beat to beat hell.
Oh.
And we had to get them off that beach quickly. The Chinese were right on their butts, shooting them up. And we had helicopters over there just picking them up as fast as we could and bringing them back to the ship. And they were tore up bunch of Marines, but they were all, a Marine's a Marine.
Right.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
And they battle with the laugh, but they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
They say, if I die, I die.
Yeah.
That's Marine attitude. Good Marine, good men.
Yes.
But fighters.
Right.
So,
you were fighting Chinese, not Koreans.
Oh, yeah.
See, I have in my mind, the Korean War, you're fighting Koreans.
Well, that too, but the Chinese supported
Chinese
them. They
joined in, huh?
Thousands.
Wow.
They supported them. They had a deal going.
Yeah.
North Korea still has a deal going with China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when Korea split, like you said, during the Korean War. Wow. I didn't know that piece of history. I always thought it was North and South all the time, but
No, it was one country at one time. And it ended up North and South.
Yeah.
What year was all that?
What caused them to split?
What year was all that?
Just stopped the war.
Two different ideologies?
Politics.
Or did, like China, really get involved in...
China wasn't in the politics.
Not
They just
yet.
supported North Korea. North Korea, China, they were tired of the war too. And
Yeah.
so they just compromised. Drew a line and say, okay, this is it.
We'll do our thing,
We have the
you do
North and
yours.
the South.
Yeah. Huh.
What year was that?
40.
50, 52.
52.
Oh, that's right. It's right after World War II. Yeah.
Started in 1950.
1950.
June 1950. The war started. That one.
And when I was in California,
Yeah. Before they had already left Saigon. And then that got started. The Ho Chi Minh got excited.
and you,
And he won.
yeah, sure did. Yeah, just barely. But hung in there a little bit longer. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. So when you joined the Navy, that was World War II.
Very end.
The very end of it, the tail end of it. Did you mostly confront the Japanese or Germans?
No.
Neither one?
The time I got out of boot camp, I was assigned to go to radioman school. And I went to school in Gulfport, Mississippi. When I still graduated out of there, I was assigned to the 8th Naval District headquarters in New Orleans. And that was on by June or July of 1945. And that's when the war in Europe ceased.
45.
Ended then. And everybody was celebrating the end of the war in Europe at that time. And I was in New Orleans. And of course, took a few more months, and the
Japanese surrendered.
Pacific ended.
I think the U.S. got involved in the war officially in 44.
41.
That's when we got involved? In 41? I'm trying to remember my history. Why does 44 come to mind? Is that when Pearl Harbor was hit?
That's right. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor attacked.
Yeah,
And
41.
President Roosevelt says, boys, we're going to war.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 1941,
41.
December 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't know whether to get out of the Navy or what. So I called Dad, and I talked to him. And 1948, things were tough on the street. People were still trying to get started after World War II. And jobs were scarce, no money. It was really tough. And we talked, and I said, well, I'm thinking about it, getting out of the Navy and coming home. And he didn't say, well, don't come home. But he said, you ain't coming home to nothing. Jobs, there ain't any jobs or anything.
Right.
And the Navy, because I was a radioman and they wanted to keep me,
Yeah.
offered me $1,600 to
To re-enlist?
reenlist.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what $1,600 was in 1948?
That's a lot.
Probably equivalent today, probably 16,000
At least.
or more.
At least that, yeah.
So I said, guess what?
I'm
I'm still the same. I'm going to stay the same. I'm reenlisting. $1,600.
Yeah.
And I was in Coronado, San Diego, Naval Air Station there, and I had my eye on this 1949 just come out Ford convertible on the shelf. I went over and I looked at that. I go over and I looked at that, and I got that $1,600, and I went over there and I drove that 1949 Ford convertible off the shelf myself. I put $1,000 down so I'd have low payments, you know. $2,800.
That's all.
Was the price of that car.
Wow. 28. Woo!
$2,800. I got $1,000
Yeah.
and an $1,800 debt.
Yeah.
But I still had $600 in my pocket.
And a new
Oh
car.
man!
And a new
I
one.
got in that Ford and I was on leave, and I went home, and I couldn't keep the damn women out of my damn car. Oh yeah, old Bill was home. He said, "Oh, he said, well, he sure beat me one."
You probably deserved it.
But he did. Never ever laid a hand on me.
Yeah.
I'm sure once in a while we might have had words, obviously.
Sure.
You know,
It's got to be something like that. Yeah. I remember Timer disciplining us every once in a while, but he didn't spank us. You know, he would get our attention. You know, and the way that he would do it, and it works pretty darn good, by the way. He would just grab you by the arms like this, and you can't look this way or that way. He's got you. He's got your attention there, and he would squeeze just enough on your arms to know that he's got you. You know, and it's you listen to me. You know, you will not do that again, or whatever it is. And that was what I remember him, how he disciplined me several times.
I remember recalling doing that to me.
Never did swap me or anything, nothing like that.
He
that I
got your
remember.
attention.
Yeah, that's how he would do it.
Yeah.
You know, he would grab you in both arms like that. I couldn't escape, face to face.
Nose to nose. He had a nose.
Like, you will not do that again. Yeah. And I think I remember him doing that with Jeff and Kelly. You know, I don't remember him putting a hand, you know, on us as far as spanking. I don't recall that. So anyway, that's enough right there.
Yeah.
To get respect.
Sure.
And that's what discipline is for. Get their
He's a kind
attention
man.
and say, okay, this
He's
is
a
not
kind
right.
man. He wasn't a mean man.
Right.
Kind man.
Yeah.
Because he had been raised more in the same kind of conditions, you know, no father.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing the way that he turned out, without a father figure of his own. It's interesting. And I don't remember Grandma, your mom, disciplining me, but I remember her being a mean lady. I remember her being disappointed a few times. She'd let you know, but
I think that's when I developed myself and my own character of being self-disciplined. And, I didn't need anybody here or there telling me what to do or not to do. Or
there was some kind of a commander above you that you wanted to show your stuff to, show that you were capable and someone that you respected, that you wanted to show your capability.
Prove yourself.
Yeah, to prove yourself to.
well, I think all the way through the Navy, sure. I respected officers.
Yeah.
Except for the one that I threw out.
Yeah.
That little shit.
Yeah.
You bastard, he's going to learn something right now.
Yeah.
Right on the weather deck we went.
Out of my territory. Out.
And the executive next day, hey, chief, yeah, that's right, Commander.
Yeah. Was there?
I said, we got to train him. And I said, we.
Yeah. He agreed. That's part of his training, yeah. Yeah. Is there kind of
like
like
my part? I run him out of my shack. I said, he's got to be trained in the wardroom.
Yeah. So you had the enlisted men, and you went as far as you could on enlisted men, and then there was the officers, who was pretty much like classroom type of a situation. Was
Chief's
there
quarters, officers' quarters.
was there like a line kind of drawn, between the enlisted men and officers?
Oh, always. Oh, yeah, sure.
It always kind of seemed to me that the chief petty officers were like right on the line where you can cross, in between the officers.
No. None of us wanted to
Really?
be an officer. No, we wanted to be chiefs.
Chief.
We ran the damn ship.
Yeah, I want to run the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The chiefs and the captain. The rest of the officers were incidental.
They're just in the way.
They're just in the goddamn way. They take the blame if anything happens. Not the chiefs, though.
Yeah. Is there any captains or admirals that ran the ship that you admired and respected?
I respected all of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
Like an honest respect that they knew
And
what
once
they
in
were
a
doing.
while, when I was on the destroyer, we'd invite the captain to come down to the chief's mess and have
Oh, did you?
dinner with us. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
he
good.
would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's. I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's who run the ship: the captain and the chiefs.
Yeah.
And the rest of the officers were incidental. They were pick up and carry on.
Yeah.
Do their duties.
Yeah,
Whatever.
super. How many chiefs does it take to run a ship? You
The
had
chief in each division.
yeah, in each division. How many divisions were there? You had,
Well, it depends on the size of the ship.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Somebody joke. How many
Yeah.
chiefs does it take to run a ship?
How many chiefs does it take to screw on one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, how many divisions were on like the destroyer that needed a chief to run?
Well, you had the engineering division. They always had two chiefs down there, a boilerman and a machinist mate below deck. Those two chiefs were always down there. And then you had a chief on the deck who maintained all the seamen on all the deck with all the lines and everything, and kept the ship clean.
Just like
And then you had a chief in CIC, Chief Iridium,
What's CIC?
Combat Information Center. Excuse me.
That's okay.
We're talking code to us.
Yeah. And probably a chief in the galley, chief cook.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's important.
Oh, very. That's where the morale of the
I'll
the
tell
crew
you.
is.
I'm
Good
glad.
food, good morale.
Yes. Yeah.
Bad chief cook, morale would go
They
down.
didn't do it.
That's true.
That's
The
right.
locomotive units.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a TV show.
Good food, morale's always good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all that. And so, all in all, on the destroyer, we probably had a dozen chiefs.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And your crew that you ran was like a handful or two?
I had 6 or 8 grademen at all times, yeah. So
That wasn't that big.
we had a man watch 24 hours a day.
What was your title again?
Pardon?
What was your title again?
Grademen.
Breedoman?
Radio.
Breedoman.
Communications.
Chief Petty Officer of the radio
He was the
communications.
Morse code guy.
The Morse code? Oh. So you can send out secret notes.
No, they don't do that anymore.
No.
No, all computerized.
Yeah,
And they don't call them radiomen, they call them information technicians.
of course. Everything's a tech now.
They got a new name for them,
Yeah.
information technicians.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
A
they
little more
no
complicated.
more Morse code.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
computerized.
know.
Do you remember
And it
Morse
should
code?
be. That's how ships are run these days.
That's very fast communications that way. Yeah.
Do you remember Morse code now?
Pardon?
Do you remember the Morse code?
You never forget it. It's
Never
like riding
forget
a
it.
bicycle.
Yeah?
It might be a little rusty, but I can still ride a bicycle.
Yeah, there you go. You can still send
Well,
smoke signal.
Yes.
I'm going to write you a letter in Morse. But that's
Deckhands on there lost several men.
Right. And then the typhoon that you're in for
4 days.
4 days. That's another highlight.
Oh, that was a goodie.
So what
Spent
are
more
some
time
other...
underwater than we did on top of the water.
And this guy coming in that was an officer fresh out of school or whatever, getting in
Yeah,
and boot him out.
day water we always call them.
Okay. So that was the third highlight. So what other highlights do you remember in there that just really stands out in your mind like this was, something?
Well, I think one of the big things when I asked for attaché duty, and I think I got accepted for it, and the State Department sent me all the information. Yeah, and either in Turkey or Vietnam, give you all the information, and it was your choice. And so I chose Vietnam, and that was a big deal, getting attaché duty, because they don't give that to anybody. And I know that. Not that I am somebody, but I know you got to have a clean record and all that because you're working in the American Embassy, and it's critical all the way around. When you're working with state and other attachés, Army, Navy, and Air Force, you're working with them too. In fact, I was in the code room and I did all of the Air Force work. I did it for them too. Army did their own, of course, state has their own. So we got all our messages from state, all our tapes came through state, and they give them to me, and I go in there with my own machines and work them out, decode them. But
in the end, you
very, very, very responsible.
Yeah.
If I do say so.
Wow.
Very responsible.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, state would want to talk to the ambassador, but they didn't want to use their state communications, and they sent it to me. No, only one man is going to read it, see. And so I get this message for state for the ambassador eyes. So I stick it underneath my shirt, and sometimes I got it at night. And I'd go out to his home. Of course, he always had a Marine guard at his home there. And we knew all the Marines because the Marines had to know you. And I'd tell him, I said, I got to see the ambassador. So bring him to over. Wake up the ambassador, whatever was happening, and he'd come out. I said, I got a message for you, ambassador. He'd read it, hand it back. I said, do you want this copy on your desk in the morning? He says, no, I don't want it. I said, I will burn it.
Destroy it. Eat it.
So that, you had a very, very important job. You didn't screw around with that.
No.
You did it.
Yeah.
be reliable and good. So, attaché duty was selective. You don't give it to anybody.
I know that with any business, whether it's private or government, communications is everything. I mean, businesses are made and break by communicating properly.
And
If you can't do that, you don't have a business. You don't have a well-oiled machine. So they really counted on you to do some pretty heavy lifting in that area.
so I was very happy with that. I was glad to have it. Had a good record.
Yeah,
Had a really good record.
very nice.
Yeah.
You got some medals.
All gold.
You had some medals for different things?
Yes. I got a bucket full of medals.
Yeah, I know. For
I don't know.
one for bravery.
One was great. What we're just having been there.
Just
I got it out there to drive somewhere.
anything special that you earned extra because you did
I don't
something
think so.
special or
Where you
Just
were
normal.
there and everybody got one.
yeah,
Like every time you turn around, they give you another ribbon.
yeah.
What did I do now? Well, you were there.
You were there.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. Just take it. Don't ask. Just take it.
And sure enough, I got assigned to this crew.
Yeah.
But then I told you, when I boarded this destroyer, and when I got aboard, I finally found out I was going to be personally assigned to the Commodore. The Commodore, who is the big skipper of the 4 destroyers. And I go, what's this shit? So I went to respectfully knocked on the Commodore's cabin and introduced myself and who I was and why, and etc. And we had a little bit of a chit chat. And one of the first things I noticed about him, he had a chain across his vest there underneath. He had a chain with a dangle on it or something there. And I found out later it was a significant of cum laude out of Harvard. He was not a military man. He didn't go through Navy Academy.
Didn't do that.
He went to Harvard.
Thank God.
So Daddy probably had a lot of fucking money.
Daddy bought it for him, huh?
Yeah, and he had this chain, and it was this one of those symbols here says cum laude. You know what that means?
Well, cum laude.
Yeah,
it's
you're
like a sorority.
yeah, you're a big
Yeah.
high bucket.
Right.
Harvard.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I thought, oh, Lord, he's not an academy man, he's a
Yeah.
Harvard church.
Yeah.
And I learned that real quick.
Yeah.
Well, I kept my mouth shut, though. And then I found out I was there for only maybe a month or so. And I was first class. First class. And I had been promoted to chief, but I had to wait a couple more months before it became effective. We promote them all at the same time, October or January or whatever.
Yeah.
And they promote them all at the same time. So I had a couple, 3 months to wait, I guess. And so I didn't say nothing. But after accommodating this Commodore, cum laude,
Yeah. This
he
armchair
heard, I don't know who the hell told me, but I heard that he wanted a chief. He didn't want a first class.
Yeah.
So I left. I left that ship. I left the Brinkley back, and I went over to the Osborne. And then I was transferred over there.
Right.
And that's when I had my own
You
Radio Shack.
Yeah.
And no goddamn
Yeah.
Harvard asshole.
Yeah.
That daddy. Boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was.
They only knew the Navy through
Then
books.
I got back in the Navy.
Yeah.
And played
Yeah. Not real
Navy
Navy.
mouse with a guy.
Real Navy.
A Harvard graduate. Full captain.
Oh yeah.
Full captain.
Nice.
Boy, I couldn't.
Didn't want any part of that.
Boy, I didn't want it.
So you used a loophole to get out of it, huh?
There it was.
You
Yeah.
were subject
You
to.
played your cards
They
right.
call you anywhere, anytime, and want this or want that.
they just get
And if I wanted to go to shore, I'd have to
handmade.
check
for-
out with him, you know. And,
Yeah.
oh,
No, don't want that.
so when he said he wanted it,
Mhm.
not a first class,
Mhm.
no shit.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for the insight.
And I walked
Thank
out
you.
there and went over the pass,
Mhm.
the Osborne, got my own shack.
Yeah.
But he didn't act like Navy. Anyway, he was in charge of communication, but I ran it. And I was first class in that Sugi. And we had a conversation one day. He said, I'm going to put you in for OCS,
What's that?
Officers Candidate School.
Oh.
I said,
You want to be an officer.
huh? Yeah. He said, you have all the makings of a good officer. I'm going to put you in for OCS. And I said, Commander, if you don't mind, I'd just soon you didn't bother. I said, the only one thing I want is I want that chief's hat. That's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a chief.
Yeah.
Period. And he dropped something. Yeah, you know, put me or OCS. What the matter with something?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said, no, we don't go there.
I think he wanted to know what you wanted.
He
Or
found
actually-
out quick.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you knew what you wanted, and there wasn't any.
He thought he was going to do me a favor.
Right, yeah.
Because I did good work, so, you know. So what? That's my job anyway.
Tempted you with it, but you knew exactly what you wanted, and so, yeah, he respected that. That's nice.
I had a crew there, 8 or 10 men, I guess. Ran the place.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of sat over there and minded his own business, except he wanted to make an officer out of it. No, we don't go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what were your duties there?
Very little. Very little. Because all you did was just kind of maintain the area where I had a lot of receivers and whatnot, and one transmitter, a lot of receivers. The reservists would come in on weekends to get their weekend, how many hours a month, 30 hours a month or something, whatever. And as reservists, they report for duty. But they did their own thing. All I did was provide them with the space and the radios and whatnot. And they would get in there and play with each other. And they would play back and forth with Great Lakes, I believe. They would communicate mostly with the reserve outfits up there. And that's what they did. But mostly, they would do that for maybe a half hour or an hour. And then they would play.
Just play.
Out come the bear. And I just walked out and go away. That's their business. So I didn't have any real responsibility.
Yeah, you just kind of set it up for them.
Just I provided the stuff for them.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that did it.
Yeah.
They had their own.
You didn't have to watch
They had their
over
own
them.
chief, their own officers, their own